y'all doing tonight? Oh, I gotta tell you, thank you. And that was my, I always talk in this fake voice. In the last scene, you finally got to see the authentic me, which I think is great. And speaking of authentic, please welcome our special guest tonight. He is a big friend of the show. He's been around our show for many years, and he performs all over town. Please welcome Jim Coughlin! Jim, thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, it's been a little bit since I've been in Top Story Weekly. The last time I was here was so long ago, you still had to talk nice about Sharna Halpern. All right. Sharna was, if you don't know, she is the owner of Improv Olympic and Improv Olympic West, which she closed, and then the building became filled with homeless squatters. And you know, it used to be a mecca for improvisers, and as it filled with squatters, you know, it was difficult to tell the difference. You know, is that a poor person with nothing, or an improviser doing space work? And that's because the rent is very high in Los Angeles. It's gotten so high, people are taking up improv. And we have Prop 10, which is rent control, that's coming up. And you know, it's gotten so bad. In Los Angeles in 2018, saying you live in a van down by the river is bragging. So we have Halloween coming up. Last year for Halloween, I dressed as a clown, my date dressed as a mime, and at the end of the night, we had makeup sex. I just want to say the sex in that joke was consensual and fictional. So, since it was fictional, she was really hot and didn't say much. I've been using a teeth whitener, and my teeth already feel uncomfortable in my mouth and my neighborhood. Really disagree with Colin Kaepernick. So Nike, we had people, this was a couple weeks ago, but a lot of people were upset that Nike put Colin Kaepernick in a Nike commercial. And I'm on board with their outrage, and I'm going to have a bonfire of Nikes. So it'll be this Saturday. Really looking forward, if anybody can find any rarely worn size 11s, specifically. All right. We've got, we have the midterms coming up next Tuesday, and the Republicans are doing everything they can to increase their support among minorities and also simultaneously prevent those people from voting. So they are doing, their minority outreach program is doing everything possible, but Gary's just one man. So what can he possibly do? We've had this week, very depressing week, not a great week for funny news. We've had 3 acts of terrorism within the United States performed by people born in the United States. And I think for Trump voters, you know, they like their terrorism like they like their beer. Like, it's okay as long as it's domestic. Don't try to import any on me. We've got this caravan. There's a caravan in, I believe it's already in Mexico, I'm not sure. Anyway, it's about 7,000 Hispanic migrants walking slowly north to the United States. And this has a lot of Trump voters very fearful. You know, because 7,000 Hispanic immigrants could take the job of 21,000 Trump voters. That's a little math joke. You know, we also had with those three acts of domestic terrorism, we had a bomber mail 13 bombs, now known as a bomber's dozen. And he's a Trump supporter, and thankfully, you know, none of the bombs went off because probably like a Trump voter's sentence, they were poorly constructed and really didn't deliver anything. So hopefully in the midterms, there's a hope that at least in the House, you know, the Democrats will gain control, and maybe we'll have an impeachment. I don't know, but I definitely know that no matter what happens, I think Donald Trump will always be associated in our minds with Richard Nixon. You know, they'll go down as Tricky Dick and Mushroom Dick. the only president, we have a good idea what his dick looks like. You know, he recently said Stormy Daniels, he called her horse face. And Ann Coulter said, so you're saying I have a chance? Oh, Megyn Kelly, this week the Megyn Kelly show is canceled. Megyn said that when she was growing up, you know, blackface was okay. And NBC felt the need to fire her. Because it turns out blackface is kind of like Megyn Kelly. It's always been racist. There was never a time when it was acceptable. Megyn Kelly said that Santa Claus and Jesus are white, and that was before NBC hired her. And as we know, Santa Claus is a fictional character, so he can be any color we want, And Jesus is a fictional character. He's from the Middle East, though, so it's kind of weird that he always looks German. But a lot of people say that Jesus Christ was black, and I think if we could convince evangelicals that he was black, it would really change their thinking. They'd immediately think, well, of course he brought it on himself, hanging out with thieves and prostitutes, giving out wine at parties, getting arrested. A little while ago, a comedian asked me if he could put me down on his resume as a reference. I said, fine, And then about a year later, I see his resume says, funnier than Jim Coughlin. Did not appreciate. One last thing. In November, it's the 40th anniversary of the Jonestown Massacre, which is when 600 adults freely chose to drink cyanide-laced Flavor Aid. And I can't get my friends to try my homemade kombucha. Thank you so much.